Can we just give Al some love? Al, the mic. Yep, 1, 2, 1, 2. Am I here? Am I here? I'm here. All right, yeah. So let us all just take a collective breath together. Yeah. It's not working? Turn it off. Yeah, because change, 1 second here. All right. Okay, change. Can you hear me? All right. Yeah, change has got me a little frazzled right now, so let me just shake it off. Shake it off. Yeah, I'm saying, wait a minute, we supposed to be doing this. We supposed to be doing that. What is this? What's going on here? But change is like that. And yet, you just stay with it. You stay with it. So we have been talking about change all year, and our theme for this month is the change inside of me. The change inside of me. The principles that we're working with today, and I believe we have copies of our spiritual principles in the backs of your seats. If you'd like to read along with me, working with principle number 1, we believe in God, the living spirit, almighty one, indestructible, absolute, and self-existence cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. Spiritual principle number 2, we believe in the individualization of the spirit in us, and that all people are the individualizations of the one spirit. Spiritual principle number 6, we got a lot of work to do today. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. Spiritual principle number 8 states, we believe in the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. The change inside of me. I'm going to start right here with this idea that, this idea that you may have. I'm just going to turn it just a little bit and say, you might have heard people say that practice makes perfect. And today, I'm suggesting that practice doesn't make perfect. Practice reveals perfection. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice reveals the perfection that was already there. The change inside of me. I have just a couple of short readings from Ernest Holmes. This one comes from his book with Raymond Charles Barker. And in it, I'm sorry, this does not come from that. This comes from The Essential Ernest. And he says that we must know definitely and consistently that the universe is for us and not against us. We shall have to learn that evil is neither person, place, or thing of itself, but is an experience which we are allowed to have because of our divine individuality. If man takes his image of thought only from his previous experiences, then he continues in the bondage which those previous experiences create. If we talk about discord, we shall become more discordant. In his book with Raymond Charles Barker, they say this from page 280, the October 6 reading. He says that if we cannot demonstrate the presence of God where we are, we shall never be able to do it at what seems a better place. The human mind likes to think that distant pastures are greener, but we know they are not. It is not a location, it is not an atmosphere which has to be revealed by us wherever we are. There is no more of the presence of God in a great cathedral than there is in your own home or office. They state that principle is either everywhere and evenly present and active, or it isn't a principle. That principle is either everywhere, evenly present and active, or it isn't a principle. The change inside of me. In Wayne Dyer's book, Change Your Thought, Change Your Life, on page 160, he shares the 33rd verse of the Tao. And in it, the title is Living Masterfully. Living as a master. And here's what that verse has to say about that. It says that one who understands others has knowledge. One who understands himself has wisdom. Mastering others requires force, and mastering the self needs strength. If you realize that you have enough, you are truly rich. One who gives himself to his position surely lives long, and one who gives himself to the Tao surely lives forever. There is a distinct difference between living long and living forever. One is immortal, everlasting, and ever after. See, the one who gives himself to his position surely lives long, might only be alive and aware of life a short period of time that they're calling long. Maybe today I'm in peace and tomorrow I am not. But the one, he says, who gives himself to the Tao, gives himself to life, gives himself to living, is surely to live forever. The change inside of me and you is surely to live forever when we practice. When we practice. So our theme, as I see it for this month, is offering us an opportunity to look at our lives and to see if we are living in a masterfully way. If we are practicing. It's the invitation. And here at the center, in all centers, we talk about the principles almost every Sunday. We talk about these principles. And as we talk about these principles, there's always an opportunity for you and for me to check in to see if these principles resonate with you. If you don't do that, I'm giving you the invitation to consider to do that. See if you're feeling it or not. See if it lands somewhere within you that you can begin to embody it and embrace it or not. Reading these principles and talking about these opportunities offers us an opportunity to say, what does it mean to me? What does it mean when we say we believe in the individualization of spirit in us and as us? What exactly do you mean by that? What exactly does that mean? What do we mean when we say that the highest God and the innermost God are one? What exactly do you mean when you say that? What do you mean when you say that God is within? What exactly do we mean when we say that? Ernest Holmes, in Living the Science of Mind, he says that, well, we're just going to take this opportunity to experience what I just offered. And Ernest Holmes says that there's a great difference in believing God to be within you or outside of you. For if God is outside you, how are you going to reach this God who, not being some part of you, must be separated from you? How can you hope to unite things which are different from each other? But the God who is already within you, being forever perfect and complete, needs no reunion with anyone. And you need no reunion with this God, because this God already is in your every act, every thought, every movement, in your every plan, purpose, and performance. The God within you creates every circumstance and situation you have ever experienced. I'm going to read that one again. The God within you creates every circumstance and situation you have ever experienced. Yes, even the one that you're experiencing now. You have called these circumstances and situations things in themselves, but they have never been. They have always been the fruition of your thought, and your thought has been dominated by your belief in God ever since you have had self-conscious life. Ever since you have had self-conscious thought, you have, by your use of the law of liberty, created bondage. Not that bondage really existed, but the possibility of using freedom in a limited way existed. You really never bound freedom. You merely use it in a restricted way. The restriction was not in the principle, but in the use of it. The restriction comes when we are not willing to let go of the past. There's a difference whether you believe in actual limitation or merely in a restricted use of freedom. If limitation were a thing in itself, you could not change it. But since it is only an outline of experience, why not use your imagination to enlarge the experience? When you do this, you will find that the life principle within you responds just as quickly to a broader outline. The old outline was imaginary only, never real. It was like the horizon where the earth and the sky appear to meet. As we travel toward this apparent dead end, we find that it disappears. Whatever you mentally see and spiritually comprehend, you may objectively experience, for the God within you is not limited to any one experience. It is the creator of all experience. What do we mean when we say these things? So the reading then reminds us, as we are thinking about these principles and the practice, that we are at choice. Limitation or freedom. Limitation or freedom. We are either limited in our ability to create, or we are free to create whatever we desire. In this teaching, then, we believe that we create our lives. We create our lives through our experiences of our thoughts, our thinking. That is, our conscious thoughts and our unconscious thoughts, we say, then creates our reality. We don't believe here that life just happens to us. We believe that life happens through us. Although sometimes it might feel like life is happening to us, or it may seem that way, mostly because we are consciously or unconsciously thinking about the past. And the past and its effect that it has on us. So we're either thinking about it consciously or unconsciously, and we then are creating more of the past. And quantum physics tells us that the mind doesn't know how to make the distinction between something happening in the past and something happening now. It'll just give back to you whatever you think about. In essence, making the past real again. So the thing is